right. Okay, so we are live now. So if you want to go share it, you can do that. Yeah, so we are live. Do you want to go share? You want to share it on your page or it's okay? Kea?
You're breaking now.
I'm saying, do you want to share it on your page? Kea? Kea? Hi everyone, I'm just waiting for Kea to be back. Seems like we are experiencing network issues. So please be patient as she connects back.
Hi. I'm back.
Are you back?
Yeah, I lost connection there.
Oh yes, I realized that you did lose connection. I wanted to ask.
I'm back.
Do you want?
Are you back? Yeah, I lost connection there.
Okay.
Oh yes. Can you hear the playback?
Lose connection. No, it's me. Let me just. I wanted to ask. I'm back. Let me just do that. Okay, there we go. It was my Facebook. It was feeding back the echo. It was echoing.
Oh.
Yeah, but I've just closed it now, so it's all good. I will manage it on my other device as opposed to on the laptop so that we don't have that inferences. How are you doing?
I'm good, actually. It's a better day.
Yes, it's very hot. I'm struggling to adjust from winter to summer, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
No, I love warm weathers. So I'm happy.
Yeah. I will adjust to it and I'll get to a point where I say, oh, I also love it. But at the moment, no, I'm not appreciating it as much as I thought I would. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna start now.
Okay, cool.
Just wanna quickly go to your bio so that it's all open and I'll be able to read it. All right. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. As we welcome you and those that are yet to tune in. Another episode of Bekezela Ntombazane. You know, when I started this series, I was very nervous about how it's going to go. I thought I was not going to be as consistent as I have been. But you know what? The demand of women connecting and saying, can we please have more of this discussion has just boosted me, given me so much confidence to continue having these conversations with my guests and just me appreciating them, you know, to take time off and come and, you know, open themselves up and be vulnerable. It's never easy. It's never an easy task, but I really, truly appreciate it. So today, our conversation is going to be on abuse, divorce, and obviously also single parenting. So to start off that, gender-based violence and femicide continues to persist in South Africa. It's a problem that is, you know, affecting both women and children. And the statistics says that 1 in 3 women will be affected. And the scourge is reported to be systematic, rooted deep in institutions, cultures, and what is known as traditions in our society. We know this because a lot of times when women question things and processes, they're told, Oguti, it is culture. They're told, Oguti, these are the processes that have always been in place in our society. I have said this before, that this platform, it's not to humiliate anyone. It's not to avenge. It's not to oust people. people, but it's a platform merely for women to break the silence, for women to say, to be given a voice, to tell their stories, and also at the plight to fight patriarchy, the patriarchal systems that continues to elevate men and continue to devalue women. So my name is Mpulukeng. I'm welcoming you as the host, and I am not alone on this platform today. I am with Kea Letsholo. Welcome, Kea. I just want to quickly read your profile, your bio. This is a woman who's accomplished so much. I wish I could have been able to say all her doings and say all that is there to say about her. But you know what? We'll just keep it to the paragraph. Kea Letsholo is a social entrepreneur and philanthropist. Her passion in community service prompted her to start Tag a Sister, which is a woman and child empowerment organization that designs and implements community development projects with a critical focus on girls affected by teenage pregnancy. Her passion is to change the paradigm and the way society and culture feels about what women and girls can do. Welcome, Kea Betsi.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. When you
It's
talk
so
about
odd because the roles have changed. I'm always the guest and you are the you are the host. So
right?
today I get to feel what you feel and you get to
You
feel
know,
what I feel.
exactly. So it's quite an experience, hey? Because I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you speak about me, and I'm thinking, who that? Are you sure you're talking about me?
It's you. It's all about you today. It's all about you today. So how has
Yeah.
it been, Kea, with the lockdown and everything that has been hectic, just life in general?
I call it the Corona coaster. Just
Yeah.
like a roller coaster, it's like an up and down. Some
Yeah.
days you are on top of things, you feel like you're doing well, and the next thing you're
Mhm.
just missing all your friends, and the cabin fever is just too much, and you find yourself very sad and melancholic and
Yeah.
despondent. But above everything else, it has been a pleasant time for me because I was actually reflecting the other day to say that, if life was to continue like this, let's say indefinitely,
Mm.
I guess I'm fortunate to be surrounded by lockdown buddies
Yeah.
that are really are a pleasure to be around and to be with. So I guess my normal everyday life is not as bad as I thought it is. So I don't need to escape from it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually been a great time, to be in tune with yourself and actually, yeah, get to know your family, the people that you share the house with a little bit better.
I know.
So
I
yeah.
know. I'm with my kids and my cousin sister, and you know what? My kids talk a lot. I realize that my kids are just talkers. I'm not gonna say they got it from me or who they got it from, but they are
Yeah,
talkers. Sometimes I just
they
wanna
are.
mute them just a little bit.
I
But I
felt
must say,
bad when I said that I feel like muting. I tell my daughter all the time, I feel like I could mute you.
you
I
know,
feel bad.
yeah, but you know what? I must say as well that the lockdown in 2020, I met a friend the other day and he was like, oh, this year must just end. It must just be cancelled. The word was cancelled. And
Yes.
I found myself just saying to him that I don't want it to be cancelled. Quite a lot has happened this year, and
Mm,
not only negative things, but beautiful, positive things. Even the negativity has awarded opportunities within them. So I must say, it has been a wonderful time to reflect, a
yeah.
wonderful time to just introspect and find out which direction you want your life to take. So I can't say it has
Yeah.
all been bad. It's been good. It has been good, and I hope that everybody finds positivity
Yeah.
in all of it. There's always a silver lining in every cloud has a silver lining, they say. But to
Of
kickstart
course.
our conversation, Kia, firstly, thank you so much for being here, for allowing this moment to take place. I know we've always spoken about it, Uguti, once I publish my book, Bekezela Ntombazane, I
Yeah.
know you've been encouraging me, finish the book, finish the book, finish the book. But here, conversations are actually happening before I finish the book. The book is still coming, everyone. Be patient with me. It's in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Pipeline. But to kickstart our conversation, tell me, where did you and your ex-husband meet? You know, how did your relationship start?
Okay, so we met when I was 16, you know, like back in the days, you know. So it was like a typical teenage romance type of mutual friend. So you know how in townships, are.
We just lost Gia for a little bit there. Let's just give her a few minutes to connect back to us. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And I hope that you join the conversation. Please do join the conversation. Share your own experiences in the comment section if you would like to. And if you're not confident enough, I know we've had issues of, I've had moments where women would privately contact me and send me messages, you know, to share their stories and their comments. But for today, if you'd like to send your comments and you don't want to do it on the Facebook page, please feel welcome to do it on 064 535 3793. The number again is 064 535 7393. It's a WhatsApp line. You can just drop a comment in the WhatsApp, in my WhatsApp, and then I'll just put it across to Kia if it's a question, if it's a comment as well, to everybody else, to the viewers. Welcome back, Kia.
Hi, so I'm gonna try to connect via my phone because I think with the laptop I'm struggling.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna leave here. Just accept me on the phone.
All right, cool.
Okay.
All right, perfect. I see you there.
Is this better?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. I can see you as well. Is it possible for you to landscape it? Your phone.
There we go.
Perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, because the connection was a bit unstable there.
All
So I
right.
thought, but let me try to use my there we go. So
All
we
right.
good, right?
Yes, yes. I can see you perfectly. I can hear you perfectly, so we can continue.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Okay, so can we just start then from the question?
Yes. So I wanted you to just tell us about how you met your ex-husband. You know, how was the relationship then?
Oh yes. So I was explaining that, you know, I was 16 when I met him.
Yes.
And so you know how townships have different sections, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. So I was visiting at his section and I was visiting a family friend at the time. So him and I have a mutual friend. So I went with this mutual friend. He was a guy. And he learned that I was in their neighborhood. And he's like, oh, we'll come see you later on. I'm like, okay, cool, perfect. So, all right, cool. He came obviously with his buddy, and there I was with the girl that I was visiting her house. And so we went to them there outside by the corner, you know. So it was in the evening. And you know, when you're little girls at the time, you know, 16, 17, the excitement of being outside the house around that time. And it's like a big thing. You're like,
I know, I know. We grew up wanting to experience this for Emma Kokoning, you know, and standing with the boy. It's both thrilling and you're scared. What if my neighbor comes and sees me standing with the boy? What if my mom sees me with the boy? You know. But I
yeah.
feel what you're saying. Yes, yes.
Yeah, so they were the boys, you know. So we four, it's the four of us now, two girls, two boys. You know the whole 2 by 2 thing, and so the whole introduction happens. This is Kea, and you know, and so forth. And yeah, we were just walking around the streets pretty much, just chit-chatting, and that's where I got to know him a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then like, when are you leaving? So I was just there for the weekend. So like, so when are you leaving? I'm like, no, I'm gonna leave on Monday. And he was like, okay, when you leave, you must pass by my house and I can walk you to the taxis. So I was like, okay, cool. No problem.
Romantic. Yes.
Yeah. So we went back home and you feel like you have a sense of achievement that or belong to the cool girls club because you were like
Mm.
out walking around with like a boy and it was all cool. And
Yeah.
then fast forward, Monday came and now the girl I was visiting, she was walking me to go catch a taxi home. And she was like, didn't you say you must go by and so he can walk you? And I was
Mm.
like, oh, we can't possibly do that. Come on, girl, let's
Mm.
go.
Mm.
Now
And
walk
there's an
into the
element of, I don't want to be desperate. I don't want to be forward, you know.
like,
He should be the
so,
chasing. Yeah.
there we were. We ring the gate bell, and yeah, he answers, and I'm like,
Mm.
hi, yeah.
Mhm.
And he was like, oh, okay. Then he comes outside and it's like, oh, I didn't think you would come. And I get shy there a little bit, like, oh, well, but yeah, I'm here. And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, let me fetch my phone, then I can walk you. And yeah, I guess then the rest is history from that walk to the taxi rank. And boom, it was a
Oh, yeah,
relationship.
I had a boyfriend. Yes.
Yeah,
From that walk to the taxi rank, yeah, I had a boyfriend. You know, growing up, I don't know if I should say in most of our Black community, you know, whereby when you grow up, you tend to imagine, re tshameka bo Mampopi, you know, re
yeah,
tshameka. I remember there was a point or a phase in my childhood when they cut the pictures, you know, and post it in a book, you know, trying to imagine your life as a grown up, your family life as a grown up. I'm going to be the wife, I will have a husband, I will have
yeah.
kids. And you get to imagine all of that and, you know, yearning and somewhat for your grown up life. Did you ever tell us a little bit more about your pictured grown up life?
Okay, mine was a little different, right? Although, okay, that game that you're talking about where you cut out
Mm.
pictures and you paste them, it's still being played, but right now it
Yeah.
has a fancy, it's called Game House. So apparently it's called Game House. Yeah,
Oh, and we
yeah,
still
and
see pictures?
yeah. I struggle with
Oh,
those
okay.
because now that Game House is a bit expensive now because it requires a flip file as well.
Okay, wow. Development, upgrades.
Uh, you know what? Sorry about that because
No
I'm
problem.
using it's a call that got interrupted. But
Okay.
anyway, so moving from that, for me it was a bit different. So I grew up in a home where my mom was a single parent, and I just saw her do everything. She did
Yeah.
everything for me, basically. And seeing her hold the fort, I could never really imagine a household with a man in it. So it was a foreign
Mm,
concept. Okay, so how does it work? So it worked with just my mother around, and it was fun, because I mean, it's a house full of girls. I have two older sisters, so
mm,
it's fun
mm.
to walk around the house naked. There's not really much restrictions and stuff.
Yeah.
So me, I knew I was gonna have kids, and in any case, I had kids early. I started early. I already had a child by 18, but
Mm.
in the picture for me, it was more me, my husband, and my kids. But
Yeah.
there was picture of a husband. I could
Mm.
never play it because I couldn't identify with the role, what it meant. So,
Yes.
okay, I'm going to be a woman, I'll have my house and I'll have my kids. But if we talk about a wedding, yeah, marriage, I did not really fantasize about it, but a wedding, yes, definitely.
Yes.
Even today, after having had a wedding, I still fantasize about a wedding. I could
Mm.
have wedding every year just to look
Yes.
cute at the whole do,
Yes.
So yeah, so for me, I wouldn't say I've had that picture of a husband and wife, mother and father and kids, it was
Mm.
something I got to fully comprehend when I was now married.
Mm. You know,
So,
it's I'm hearing you talk about you being raised by your mom. I'm reflecting as well to me because I was also raised by a single mom, and you tend to observe the power that they have, and you listen to your schoolmates when they talk about mom and dad household. It's a concept that is very foreign to most of us because when you are raised by a single mom, there is no imagine of how a woman should serve a man, how a man should love a woman. That concept is somewhat foreign, and we cannot relate to it, which is okay because family dynamics are so different nowadays, and we adapt to it, and it has not so much bearing, but we do with what we are given. But
Yes.
so now with your boyfriend now, you've been walked to the taxi rank. How was the relationship with him?
Okay, so we had a very simple relationship. It was so simple. It was so cute, actually. You know,
Mm.
I was a girl. No, I was 16 at the time. He was 17. So we were fairly young, and he was on his. Oh gosh,
They keep
sorry.
calling you. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. We understand that whenever you break off a little bit, I can hear you though. So you can continue talking, just reject the call.
Oh, okay. So yeah, with me then, yeah, he was 17 at the time. I was 16, and he was on his gap year. He had
Mm,
matriculated gap year. And the reason why I was still in school, like 2 grades or so behind, was that when I started school in a township school, right? So when
yes.
I went to school, I went to a multiracial school, and they sent me back by 2 grades. So I was lagging behind because of the whole multiracial thing.
Mm,
And yeah,
mm,
so I would go to school, I would get off when I come back at his house, and we would sit and do my homework. When I get there, there would be snacks there, would have snacks, do my
mm,
homework,
mm.
just chill, watch your TV, get
Yes.
naughty, and then, I'd go home. And because I used to take extramural activities also at school, it was expected to me for me to get home like, around in the evening, like around past 4
Mm,
5 p.m. So it was nothing unusual there. And yeah, it was pretty simple. And I would say that because it was such a cute relationship, um, it was accepted. Because I remember we were also quite scared about his mother finding out. He was like to me, you know what, if my mother finds you here, and she throws a fit or she swears at you or throws you out, please, it's nothing personal. She's just like that. So I was also,
yes.
I was so terrified of meeting the mother. But when she actually did meet me, she found us standing outside that one day, and she came. And she was actually very pleasant. She's like, hello, baby. And I was like, oh, okay. And that was basically it. So I would say
Mm,
it was an excellent relationship, because even on times where because I would get off there every day when I come from school.
mm, mm.
It was times where it was raining, he would get given the car to say, you know what, take care home, it's raining, stuff like that. So yeah, it was one of those relationships, very simple, very plain. The other cute thing that we had then was we used to keep a journal at the time,
Mm.
so I would write from the front, he would write from the back. So it was kind of fun. And this one time when I wrote, I think an English word wrong or incorrect, he was
Yes.
like, your English teacher would be so disappointed at you because you spelled this word wrong. So it was really just a cute relationship with teenagers. And yeah, we had our little traditions, where with every flavor that Magnum released, we
Mm,
had to have, you know. So I would find it there waiting for me. So yeah, it was just basically a cute relationship between teenagers, nothing to it. I don't remember having a fight or an
yes.
argument. Yeah, so it
So
was
you're
just basically,
basically what we would now call relationship goals.
yeah, pretty much
Pretty
actually. When I
much,
think back
right?
to those days, yeah, it was very simple. No
So in all
frills,
of
nothing.
that, in all of the bubbles, the butterflies, being a teenage girl, being in love, and having found somebody who was very soft and kind with you, did it ever occur to you that one day this person would be violent? This person would raise his hand on me.
Actually, no, hey. Like there
Mm,
was no but I think most of the time we were just passive. And like I said, we've never really had arguments at the time, you know. I think then what happened was I fell pregnant, right?
Mm,
I think, yeah, just after I turned 17, I fell pregnant, and it was around December time at the time when I fell pregnant. And the next year he was going to varsity, you
mm,
know. So obviously he goes to varsity, first year student, you know, varsity life, the excitement, and now you have a pregnant girlfriend at home. At the time
mm,
I'm in grade 7. And obviously varsity life got the better of him. He started seeing someone else, and you know, I think from there that's when the relationship became tumultuous, you know.
mm,
And
mm,
yeah, so eventually I give birth, and after giving birth, still it was like up and down, you know, because now he's, I think, also at that age. I mean, he's 19, I'm 18. You know, his life is just, you know, almost starting now in varsity, enjoying a different kind of life. And here I am as well. Now I'm thinking, okay, I'm a mother now. As a mother, you should behave a particular way. You know, you're a father, you can't be doing certain things. So we
mm.
have expectations of each other now as now young mother and father, but we don't really even understand the frustrations that we're dealing with. I'm
Yeah.
expecting a father figure, and he just wants to live his life, so it just becomes a mess. He starts seeing someone else there, and yeah, everything just falls off. And then I get to matric, right?
Mm.
So obviously the trick dance and all of that. And because he's the only guy that I can ever say is my boyfriend, and I don't imagine myself with anybody else, because now he's no longer just my boyfriend, but he's my baby daddy.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
big deal. And you know, he's your
Yeah.
baby daddy. Date, you have to commit to each other, you have to raise this child. So even though he would be in his relationships there, it would be like we would date on and off, because we would break up and come back together. But yeah, you know, come matric dance, obviously then he is my date for the matric dance, you know.
Mm.
And even that, I had to now, you know, force him sort of to be a part of it, because you know he's cool now. I mean, he's not in baby school anymore, and
Mm.
now go to a metric dance, like really, you know? So yeah, so get to the metric dance. We were even late, but
Mm.
yeah, made the most of it, got done with the formalities, and yeah, then we go to the after party. So yeah, we get to the after party, and then it was just an after party, and then there's the after party, you
Yeah.
know?
The party to celebrate the other party.
You know? So
Yeah.
there we were, because we had the car, you know, it was me, his cousin, my other friends as well, you know, because we are
Mm.
the one that had the car. It was a big deal then. Now we party hopping. So we go to the after party. So when we get there, we're chilling inside the house, like a house party setup.
Mm.
So in the house. And then he asked me to go fetch the cooler bag in the car from the car. So I was like, okay, cool. So there I go fetch the cooler bag. So it's quite heavy, you know, and I'm a petite girl. So this guy sees that, you know what, this girl is carrying this cooler bag, which is very heavy. Let me
Mm.
give her. Then he assists me. We walk into the house. Obviously, we're chatting, you know, as we walk. And when we get inside the house and we put the cooler bag down, he flips.
Mm.
And I was like, back to me, you're entertaining other guys. I'm here in my presence. And I'm thinking, how now, where does this all come from? So now
Yes.
it's a you know. Okay, there we go. We go outside now to try talk it out. And he's really just livid. Next thing, I get slapped right there. And I'm thinking, okay, oh, what the hell is going on now?
It just happened.
Yeah, I really am dumbfounded. Like, okay. And everybody around me, I feel like, you know, in the movie scene where everything just now goes in slow motion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, felt like that, because I'm just standing there and I'm looking around me, and I feel like everybody's just standing in awe, like in shock. And as
Mm.
I'm standing there, boom, another slap. I'm thinking, okay, then I start holding my face, because now I'm thinking, I am being hit. It's starting to register in my head now that
Yes.
you are
Yes.
hit.
He's hitting
And
you.
yeah, so then the next thing, His cousin comes, pulls him back, and my friend comes to me, and
Yeah.
there I am. Now I start crying because I'm thinking, okay, I guess that's the most natural thing to do, when you've been hit, you
Mm-hmm.
cry.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the party was over just like that. And then we had to then go home. And because we were the ones with the car now, we had to drop everybody off first, and then go home. And that was the first encounter. But I don't want to lie, at that time, I was just still baffled at what happened
Hmm.
because that was the first time ever a guy had ever laid a hand on me.
Yeah, Gia, I mean, hearing you relaying your story about the fact that you fell pregnant and now he was in university, you were still doing you were now going into your matric from grade 11 into your matric. The frustration, I can't even begin to think of the frustrations that both of you felt because, I mean, you were fairly young. You yourself were kids. I mean, to be
Yeah,
now having to hop from being kids yourselves is to now being adults, not just adults, but parents to someone. It must have been very challenging. It must have
yeah,
been very, very difficult. And I'm assuming it's a conversation that you never really spoke about. Or would say, how do you feel about the fact that now you are a father, and also you taking stock of what it means now to be a mother, at that age. But having moved on and him finding yourself now at this matric dance and him beating you up, was there ever a conversation about that slap? Was there ever a conversation where you are sitting down with him to say, but why did you do that? Where did it come from? And also to you, um, did you find yourself maybe at a point where you felt, I am to blame? I shouldn't have allowed another guy to help me carry the cooler back in front of my boyfriend. I'm interested to find out what was going through your mind.
okay, so after we drop everybody off, we go back to his house,
Hmm.
and obviously we talking about it. He's like, yeah, how could you disrespect me like that? How could you do that? So he's just going over and over, well, playing the whole thing over and over. But in his what he's talking about is that I disrespected him,
So
and that
there's no
is
remorse, but rather the blame shift. You made me do this. Basically, you
yeah,
made me do this.
yeah. So I'm thinking now, okay, but how I don't I'm struggling to understand to grasp that concept because for me, I'm thinking, okay, if you're gonna send me to fetch a cooler bag that is heavy
Mm.
and someone helps me carry it, where's the problem in that?
Mm.
Clearly, it is heavy. And if we were doing something that was offish, we wouldn't even be coming to you. So where does all of this come? I couldn't understand. But here I am having this conversation with somebody that feels justified in their action. To say you disrespected me. Why did you not come to me if it was heavy?
And I
So
guess
I'm
that is mostly what a lot of women also, sorry to interrupt, what a lot of women who have been in abusive relationship, that it's never me taking account as the abuser to say that, okay, maybe Linda, in essence, why did I send her to go pick up a heavy something as a woman and expect her to bring it? It's like they were asking you to do almost the impossible, the tough, but yet when you found a way to achieve the tough, now it becomes a leverage for him to justify the action that he took.
yeah, because if I think about it even now, is that if at that point in time when you asked, go fetch the cooler bag, and I said it's too heavy, I can't lift it, I feel like we were still gonna fight about that answer.
Yeah. Yeah, it would
You know,
have probably boiled down back to also an excuse, another excuse for him to act the way he wanted to act out, you know?
exactly. So yeah, so we get to his house. So it's just a back and forth conversation on that. And but all the time, all the while, I really am just confused at his thought process and logic behind it. But
Mm,
to the point where now I'm just apologizing because
mm.
now we close this discussion. We're arguing indefinitely, and it's leading us nowhere. And I'm thinking, okay, fine. Sorry for disrespecting you. It was not the intention. I did not see it that way, like honesty.
Mm,
And yeah, but he didn't apologize for that, you know.
mm,
It's me apologizing for making him upset so that for him to react the way that he did.
mm,
And
mm,
it took me home. I got home, and I didn't tell anyone about it at the
mm, mm.
time. I let it slide. I was like, it's probably, a misunderstanding. He was just upset, and we should be fine.
So having been
And
the
yeah,
one to assume the responsibility of it and the one to assume the process of fixing things by apologizing so that everything can just go back to normal, did you ever think that this is the start of a trend or a norm in our relationship?
actually, I was oblivious to that, and I know I did not think of it because it's
Mm,
something that is normal to me, and
mm,
even around me, it was far fetched. Abuse was far fetched
mm,
in my eye. Although I know that I hear from family and my mother that my dad was abusive to my mother,
mm.
but I never experienced it with my naked eye.
Yes,
It was
yes.
something that I heard. So I did know what abuse was. I did know what he did was wrong, but I just thought, okay, people make mistakes. I was naive at that time to believe that you know what, it's just a mistake, probably a once off, and I won't go through it again. And at the time, you're also thinking, I'm a good person. Generally, who would want to hurt me?
Yeah.
I don't.
And the worst part of it is this is the person who says, I love you. You don't hurt
Exactly.
you love, so
That's
how could it be?
Yeah. So for me, it was okay. This person loves me. It was a mistake, and let's pardon this mistake. It's a once off. And
Mm.
yeah, so that's basically that first time around, and that was when 2006 when I was in matric.
Did he ever do it again?
Yeah. Hey. A couple of other times. So I'll just give you now a timeline of the relationship from there.
Okay.
So from there, matric, obviously, like I said, he was in varsity, he was seeing
Mm,
someone else as well, and that person was really a nuisance, when somebody would call you and terrorize you and,
mm,
harass. And at the time, I couldn't even really fight back. And so I would just literally hand the phone over to my friends, and they would just do that fighting for me. But
yeah.
that whole thing was just tiring because here you have a girl and they're there together, but she keeps calling you over and over and over. And
Mm,
I also,
mm,
so we ended up breaking up. All right, so we broke up for a period of time. Although in that break, he would make attempts to get back, but
yes.
I knew better then. I wasn't that young, naive girl anymore, so I knew better, and I would not fall for his advances.
Mm,
And so he and that girl had a child, and I met someone else, and I had a
okay.
child with. So it seems like all our lives were moving, we were moving on and we were okay.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, life happens, when you're busy making other plans. So my relationship with the guy I was seeing also ended, but it ended on its own problems, and it was just an amicable breakup at the
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then to find out that he also is single, and yeah, so around the time his mother was sick,
Mm,
and they called me in hospital this one time to come see her. So I went to go see her, and she really set me down, and she was like, what's going on between you guys? I'm not happy. I mean, you've been together for so long. You've been in my family for so long. I mean, I've
mm,
accepted you were like 16, and you have a kid together. Yes, you guys went and dated other people, and you had children
mm,
outside people. Um, don't you think it's time to reconcile and your differences and raise kids together? Are you going to meet a third person now and have a third child with that other person? Is he going to meet another woman and have a child with that other woman? What kind of future are you guys planning and stuff?
mm,
So yeah,
mm,
gave me that real talk. And I think at the same time she had that talk with him, and then he asked to come see me, and I said okay, fine. And also the emotional blackmail that oh, this woman is on her dying bed, and she's delivering gems. Well, she had points there, to
mm,
consider. But now you working also on that guilt and also thinking, yeah, she has a point. Then we started talking like, okay, how about we try again? I mean, we are grown up now, we're wiser now. Um, it shouldn't be hard. I know
Yeah.
you.
You essentially thought, I mean, this is a person that you knew from your teenage years,
Exactly.
you know him, he knows you. What could go wrong? I mean, you've been together for the longest of time. You've parted ways thinking you are reconnecting back, and things should essentially be different because we have had enough time to mature and be adults,
Yeah,
Let's
you know.
give it another chance.
Yeah, so I was like, okay. And also, like I said, because I grew up with just a mother, and I thought, okay, this is also an opportunity for my kids to have a proper full family so they can
Yes.
experience what I experienced. Because
Mm,
I think the concept of family is embedded at us at a very young, and biblically, so that a family with a mother and a father is a healthy family for a child to grow. So you grow up with that, and you think that is the right thing to do. And also the institution of marriage, it's highly prestigious.
mm,
For those for somebody to say, you know what, Kia, I've had you as a girlfriend before,
yes.
and now I want you to be my wife. And I'm thinking, whew, okay. But it was intimidating. The thought of being someone's wife was intimidating for me because now I had to tap into that. Okay, what does being a wife mean?
Yes. Were you able to take stock to think as to what does this role of being a wife mean to me? You've always been alone. You were raised by a woman who was alone. Did you take a minute to think about it and process what it all means?
I thought about it, and like I said, it was intimidating
Mm.
because now I'm thinking, okay, remember that picture that I never had of a
Yeah.
house with just kids? Now here's a man. Now, how do we relate with this man? What role is this man supposed to play?
Mm.
And I was so unsure. I asked this other friend of mine, and I was actually reminding her the other day, I'm like, ooh, Matepo, do you remember when I was so unsure about getting married and you gave me advice? And we were just
Mm.
laughing about it. And I remember I was at work and she came to see me. We were at my workstation. And I tell him, like, yo, this man has asked me to marry him. I'm not sure. I said, I'll think about it. And she was like, with a squeaky voice, you, Miss Cat, even if you're not sure, you say yes.
My word. My word.
We were young at the time. And funny, I think because I also wanted to, because I thought, what's the next thing that I could do? I'm 25, apart from drugs, there's which I will never experiment with. What
Mm.
else would I experience? What else do I still want to see?
But I guess there's
So
a Mapepo in all of our lives, that friend,
yeah,
not even just a friend. Some it's our own sisters, our own aunts who would say, even if you are not ready, go for it. Because there's this concept, ya gore, if o le tlogela le feta, it might not come back. You might
yeah,
not get a second chance at giving it a try. So there's always that thing at the back of your mind that how to because it might not come around. And
exactly.
we are expected to marry as young women. We are expected to marry, we are expected to have your own family. And the minute you start talking about your own expectations, that what, I can imagine myself with kids, I can imagine myself with a family, just me and the kids, but I don't want the marriage part. It has always been seen as a taboo, and there's still that element of it even today.
Yeah, you are frowned upon. You are frowned upon. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's bitter. It's associated with all the negative things.
Hmm.
And I know also that I stand accused of that when I speak to women that have children and they don't have children. Like, you don't have a child. Like, yeah, you don't want a child. And they're like, yeah, no, I don't want children. And you're like, oh, wow. So, but it's a very judgmental tone because just because you have children doesn't mean the next person must have children.
Yes. Or
You
that the
don't
next person even wants to get married still.
exactly. But yeah, so but back to that point, when Matsapo said that, I think she was also very young and naive. She
Mm,
didn't
mm.
know the power of her advice, and also I wouldn't blame her because I think
Yes,
that's what I needed. Yeah, I
yes.
needed somebody that push to go and say, fine, let's get married. So I agreed, and yeah, then we got married in 2012.
Mm.
And yeah, so that's how we got to being a married couple. And
So here you
now,
are now in a marriage, now in a household, that picture you have never had with the mom and dad. Now it's you, it's your reality. And how was it? How was that? How was the journey, the chapter? How did it begin? And the experience of it?
yeah, it was such a hot mess.
A hot mess, you say.
It was such a hot, you know. So I only had a traditional wedding, not a white wedding. So matlabiso a rona bile on the 8th of December.
Mm,
And yeah, obviously I think planning a wedding is exciting. Like I said, we all love the
mm,
occasion of a wedding. It's fun, And that was fun. And yeah, now life together, it's strange because we're not really communicating with each other, but now we have, like I said, unset expectations
mm.
because I grew up having or perceptions that as a wife you need to do this or you need to be that, you
Yeah.
need to behave the way. And also, why to
Mm.
lie when woman they tell you, okay, fine. A woman translates, yeah, nah, a woman what a woman caters for her husband, a woman is, a
Was
woman
Kea
basically,
ever that woman, though?
excuse me.
I'm saying, was Kea, were you ever that woman that they were? How are you busy ba go laya gore a woman does this, a woman does that? Did you see yourself being that woman who does all those things? You didn't see yourself.
No, I have to admit, I'm very lazy. Like I am
Mm.
so lazy. Like,
Lazy
yo,
makoti.
I lazy.
Mm.
Makoti, like certain things like doing laundry,
Yeah.
not for me. And also because we really are cosmopolitan women. I mean, I'm a wife. I'm not a housewife. I work in a multinational company,
Mm.
and I'm socially engaged as
Mm.
well. So there's always something that I'm doing. So now if I'm gonna be busy with all of these things and you just sitting there and not doing anything, watching TV, and you have all this ample time to yourself, and I'm busy juggling all of this, then the next thing you're gonna ask me, "Ritang, Areji." Yeah,
Mm.
no, 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 no. You see, that question today still is a deal breaker for me.
So I must, even the kids must know, Rejai.
No, no. If I'm busy and you can see that I'm busy and it's
Yeah.
justifiable, go whip up something in the kitchen. How is that that teamwork?
Was
You
there
know?
ever was there ever a conversation about expectations? Because I think that's where a lot of us also go wrong, whereby we jump and hop into these things, but we never have a conversation about, the responsibilities in the house. Because I mean, different households run differently. In other households, a woman is the primary caregiver in terms of the cooking, the cleaning, making sure we've got clean clothes to put on, and all of that. But in other households, the man is the one that does the cooking and the taking care of the kids. But did a conversation ever take place about expectations, what he expects of you, what you expect of him, so that there's a better understanding and clarity of the roles that you guys are expected to play?
No. And I think that is alluded to the fact that I think when we got back together, we did not court again.
Mm,
So we got back together and then got married. So now we
yes.
were having the relationship or the courtship rather in the marriage.
Mm,
So default expectation now is the patriarchal role definition of roles. To say that the woman is the primary caregiver, a woman's role is to clean, cook, and do all of these things, and a man has to do, the hard labor stuff. But the funny part is, even though that is the default, the man, well, not let me not speak of him. He never did that.
mm,
He was
mm.
also, you know. So I was just expected now to just do everything, and he had to just sit. And I think that also took a toll because at some point I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting depleted here.
Mm.
You know, I'm getting depleted. And yeah, certain things here and there would rock the marriage, but those were not like hectic issues because we would reach a conclusion, a consensus to say, okay, At some point, he was like, okay, I would do the laundry because you hate the laundry so much. On some occasions, he would cook because he actually could cook,
Mm.
So as we were navigating through those things, those were not really the key issues. But I think if those were the only problems we had, we would still be married today. Because I think those are things that everybody goes through. It's just a matter of communicating your preferences and what would work in your relationship, essentially. But now the problem was the general expectation that omosadi, that is the one concept that I couldn't understand. When you say omosadi, what do you
Mm.
mean, sadi? Omosadi, you can't do this. Omosadi, you can't go there. Omosadi, there was an expectation that because ke mosadi, I can now attend my friends' weddings alone. Because now ke mosadi, I can't go out for lunch with my friends. And like I said, I'm a social person and I'm used to that. And a case in point, actually, even just a few weeks after we got married in that December, I had a cousin who was sick
Mm.
and she was in home. So after work, while I was at work, she called me to say, please come see me. And then I said, okay, fine, I'll come see you. So I let him know it took me throughout the day to just notify each other about how your day is going. So I tell him, no, I'm going to see my cousin after work and stuff. So it's like, okay, fine, no problem. So as I'm there, I get a text from my friend to say, "Oh, where are you?" I'm like, "No, I'm at a certain hospital." She's like, "I'm around. I'm in that area. When you're done, let's meet." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And she's like, "You know what? And we can take you home. Don't worry. Me and my boyfriend will take you home." And I said, "Okay, fine, no problem." I let him know, same thing. "Oh no, I'm gonna meet up with so and so after this, and they're gonna bring me home and stuff." Okay, cool, no problem. All right, fine. So everything happened. I saw my cousin, met up with my friend, and as we were driving home, my friend and her boyfriend start having a fight in the car. So obviously, I tried to calm them down. So when we get to my house, we find my husband there waiting. Well, obviously, they get out the car to greet him, and the introduction happens. Okay, this is so and so, and as guys, same they get along. Like, oh hi, how are you? Then
Yeah.
you're such a so because my friend was a bit of a mess, I asked me, you know what, let me walk her to the bathroom so she can freshen up and put herself together. It was okay. So that happened, and then the couple left. Now it was just the two of us. To my
Mm.
surprise, all of that was a problem. All of that became a problem. That
The
whole
fact
you do
that
not
now you went with your friend, you brought a friend home, and you
yes.
had never obviously had a conversation about I can have friends, I can bring friends. It's your home. It's expected. It's my home. It's my space as well. I don't think anybody would see anything wrong with wanting to invite friends over in your space.
Yeah, and all the time I am communicating with you. I
Mm.
feel like if you had any issues with it, you could have said at that point in time, say, no, I'm not happy with this, or please come home because I'm not happy. Then I get home and we get to discuss it. And there I was now. I'm just thinking, okay, what just happened now? I don't
Yeah.
understand. I'm not okay with this. We spoke about this. And next thing again, boom, bam, you get hit. And I'm just like, okay, so the slap was so hard that I actually lost balance and I fell.
Did
All
you
right.
lose conscious?
No, I didn't lose consciousness,
Okay.
but I balance. And
Good.
I'm still concentrating on that. When you fall and you open your eyes and you realize, okay, this is the ground, this is the pavement. The next thing you are being picked up, dragged, and now you're just being hit. So in my head, there's a lot
Yeah,
going
what's going on? What's going on in your head?
on.
Did you,
How does it escalate?
this is now your reality.
And this is
And
really
it's
like a couple
barely a month, and it's barely a month since
of months.
you got married.
Yeah, the same December. Same December. It was not even, I think, yeah, it was not even probably just after Christmas. Yeah,
Yes.
it was Christmas. And yeah, and this person is busy beating me up like a proper beat down. This is not just the slap.
Mhm.
The person is kicking, punching, and the whole time I'm just like having an out of body experience. It's like my soul is up there. I'm watching on myself get beat up because now I'm thinking, oh my goodness, now I'm a statistic. Oh my goodness, I am being abused. Oh my goodness, I am one of those women. Oh
Mm.
my, it's happening to me. Really? You know? So I'm in shock there. And I snap out of my thoughts and I'm thinking, okay, will it stop? When is it gonna stop? Because this thing is carrying on and on and on. And eventually it stops. I prompted him to stop, but eventually he stops and he just leaves me there lying there on the dining room floor. And now I'm just lying there and I'm thinking, oh wow, I just got beat up.
Yeah.
Like beat up, you know. And then I just get myself up. Now at that point, I'm even not cry. I'm not crying at that point
Mm.
because I'm in shock that somebody violated me to the point.
Mm.
And the next day, my sister-in-law and the husband came, and when she gets there, she's also in shock. She's thinking, I haven't looked at myself in the mirror at that
Yeah.
point. She's looking at me, and she's just in shock. She's holding her face. You know when somebody's holding her hands, putting her hands on her chin, like, what happened?
In disbelief, because this
Yeah,
is what the works of her brother, right?
yeah.
It's the
And she's
works of
thinking,
her brother.
and she's thinking, did you guys even know what you were doing when you were getting married? She's really just shocked. Everybody's just shocked. And obviously, then they calm us down. She helps me, put myself together. And
Mm.
I didn't look at myself in the mirror that night. And the next day, I woke up, and that's when I looked at myself in the mirror. Now, that picture of your one side of the face all swollen up, your eye black, you bit your lip and look like those images that you would see on the internet or on TV.
Mm.
Now, that reality that was so far fetched is now your reality. You are that woman
Because
that
we
just
never think it could be us. I mean, nobody thinks that one day I might be that girl who gets beaten up, who gets dragged on the floor and gets the face rearranged. We don't think about it. And therefore, we never are ready for it because we never plan for it. Oguti, if it's me, well, I guess if you're watching TV, an action movie or whatever, you always say, if it was me, I will do this. But things like abuse, you never think that when it's me, I would do this because you don't think it will ever be you.
yeah, I never thought it would be me because
Yeah.
like I always thought I'm a good person, generally.
Mm.
I'm a cordial person, fairly reasonable. I am opinionated, yes, but I think I'm okay. I'd never ever thought that somebody would feel the need to like hate me that much.
Mm. Mm.
So I went to the doctor, and the doctor said to me, you know what? If this man does this to you again, you need to open the case.
So he's saying, go wait for it to happen for the second time.
Yeah,
Whether you will survive it the second time or not, it's besides the point. You must just go wait for it to happen for the second time before you can actually take action.
yeah. But I also, to his defense, then I guess he's dealt with so many cases that
Mm.
he knows that the person is ready to leave.
Yes, you can never tell a person to leave until they are ready to leave. But often
Yeah,
I would say cancel them, especially if it's somebody who has, I'm not now attacking him. I'm not attacking him
yeah.
or her. But you have seen this, you've experienced it. Lay down the fact that you know what, it happened, it might happen again. Did you think that it will ever happen again? Oh,
So
it was that mistake. Okay, not putting it
here's
into account the first time it happened. Yes. Did you think that okay, it's gonna happen? Did it even happen again?
at the back of my mind, obviously now I'm thinking, it could, but
Mm,
now, like I said, as the first occurrence, obviously there's a family seating, and at the time, because babalai like your
mm,
problems you running back to your maiden family to complain about your marital problems. You do not air your dirty laundry out into the street.
mm.
You
Oh,
conceive the madness that happens in your household because batho ba tlo go nyatsa out there,
mm,
and you also thinking, but if I now tell my family that he's done this, you are told for it. When you guys reconcile, your family will still hold the grudge against this person because you're their child and
Mm,
essentially they care about you. So I was caught in that conundrum whereby, um, because I was told that if you go out and speak to your family, this would be the issue. And now his family is here and they're saying, okay, he must make a promise that this would never happen again. They're not condoning it, but at the same time, they are saying, stay together, you know, this must just not happen again. And he is remorseful and he's also, you know, I think, for a lack of a better word, a mind fuck, to say, I'm so sorry.
mm,
I came over me, I've hurt you, look at you,
mm,
I'm not proud. He's saying all the right things. You
mm,
want to
mm.
say, I mean, I deserve it. And obviously, when you love somebody, you will have that, oh,
Yeah,
and you forgive the person. And also, because we are creatures of hope, you hope that when they say
it
it
will
is
not
that
happen again.
it
Yeah,
won't again. But
yes,
little did I know that that was going to be my reality for the next 3 years that I remained there. Even though it wasn't something that would happen like regularly, but in a year it would happen like 3, 4 times. But still, it was something that I knew that I couldn't stomach, and it
three,
had
four
changed.
times. I'm hearing you saying not regularly, and I'm thinking three, four times. It's
It is really like every quarter, basically. You get a
yeah, yes, for something that should never
bit.
happen. It happened too often. It was too often that it happened. But where was the what was the thing that made you say, you know what, I'm enough for this. I can no longer take this.
So
What got you
basically,
to that point where you're saying, I'm packing my bags, I'm taking my kids, I am leaving you?
okay, so there were also a whole lot of other things that came up in the marriage. So
Mm,
it wasn't violence, it was the financial abuse
mm,
and me discovering that this person actually has a drug addiction problem, and I think that also explained of the radical behavior once I
mm,
discovered the person has a drug addiction problem, and things wouldn't last. So our life was not pleasant, and because of that, he would disappear on weekends. He would disappear on random days, like not sleep at home,
mm,
and that behavior that I also couldn't rationalize. I couldn't understand. This
yeah.
one time he was away. He like literally, I came back from work. He was already not at home, and he never came. But this was on a Friday, and on that Sunday, I go into Facebook and he has typed this beautiful message of endearment to his beautiful wife, who he loves so much and, wouldn't be anywhere without her. And I'm thinking, I don't even know where you are.
And this is a person whom you don't even know where they are. Wow.
Not
Social media life, and the need to keep up appearance, you know. And the
exactly.
drug, obviously, the drugs financially, it was affecting you because, I mean, a drug problem is a problem that needs to be, it's a habit that needs to be maintained, and it's not cheap.
Expensively so. So that was really, I think, for me, the deal breaker.
Mm, mm,
And because now he couldn't even maintain gadgets. He could
yeah.
maintain his phone, such things like laptops, and sometimes money would go missing as well. So it created so much a financial burden for me because now nannies, helpers, kids, everything now has to come out from my
Yeah.
financial provision because this person, you can't plan with them. And it creates an element of mistrust. Now I can't trust you. So when I can't trust you, also submission becomes distorted
Mm,
automatically. You
mm,
cannot submit to leadership that you don't trust. If we plan, I can't trust that you will follow through with the plan because now you have shown to me that you are not reliable.
yeah. And
And also you have this temper, when things don't go your way and I'm not agreeing because I'm one person, I'm too set in what I believe in.
mm, mm.
wrong is wrong, you know. Even if you beat me up, you will submit me to fear you, but not
To respect you.
so you
It
beat
will not be out of respect. Yes.
me.
And when all of this is happening, where are the kids? Have the kids ever seen him beat you up? Have they ever witnessed it?
With their own eyes, no, they
Mhm.
haven't. But it was later on that I realized when we were having this conversation, now when we are separating and we have to have these conversations with the kids. Well, I had to have the conversation, especially my older son, because he could understand at the time.
Yeah.
And he was saying to me that, you know what, I was aware what was happening. It's just that I was too young and I was scared to say anything. But I
Yeah.
know when you made those stories to say you hit a door, you know, I know that that blue I was in from you being hit by a door. I know that my
Mm.
dad is a wife beater.
Mm.
And it was an emotional thing for him because also we are quite a religious family.
Mm.
So it's in a very religious home, and you know the religious teachings they also say they condemn violence as well, you know.
Yes.
And so my oldest son understands, and he was actually a very zealous boy in terms of the ministry and stuff, and Bible reading. So he knows scripturally what a man needs to do, and he knew that his father was not that man. I mean, even today he says, you know what, I pray that you guys don't get back together
Wow.
because I know what kind of a he is. He
Mm.
won't change. You guys
Mm.
are apart, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so at that time they never experienced it with their own eyes, but the effects were there.
Mm.
Effects were there because now they were also scared of him. You know? And yeah, like I said, now with everything that has happened, for me it was really taking a toll. And at some point I was also like that person that would pack my bags, go back home, you know,
Yeah.
just to at all or you know, the fed up leave, you know, as we put them, we
Yeah.
call
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I'd go on a fed up and you know, stay a month and then he'd come back, apologize, make promises, then I'll pack again and go back.
Yeah.
So I got tired of that. I really got tired of that. And so that was the breaking point for me. 2015 was a breaking point for me because that was the year that I also gave birth to my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I gave back to my daughter in March. And yeah, now things were really bad. I think he was then at the peak of his drug addiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a point where, at the point where now I was now speaking to his mother to say, this person is really into this habit. Now, how do we help him?
Mm.
I was help him. I'm researching rehab centers, you know, and because, like I said, he couldn't maintain his gadgets because he had to sell them to sustain this drug habit, you know.
Yeah.
A BlackBerry at the time, you know, with BM, he had those
Mm-hmm.
black those he had limited internet access,
Mm.
so he would phone to search on the internet or log on to his Facebook and stuff. And this one time I logged into his Facebook and I went to his DMs and I saw a post that he wrote, well, a DM rather, that he wrote to Trevor Gumbi at the time because he also suffered drug addiction and
Yes.
yeah, so he was reaching out to him to say that, you know what, I'm having this problem.
Mm.
It really is a problem now, and I'm on the brink of losing my wife and my kids. I don't know if he ever responded or not, but
Mm.
also when I the search engines, that's when I realized that he is addicted to cat. You know, so initially his fix was cocaine, but
Mm.
because of me, then the subgrade of cocaine cat in this case
Yes.
that was the confirmation for me. And there I was now, and I go to my mother-in-law with this information to say, you know what, this person is suffering this problem. How do we help him and stuff? You know, still being the wife, you know, because at that time I thought, you know what, like I said, I'm set in my ways, and because of that, you know, even when I seeked intervention from my family, my uncles, it was always said, you know what, they were always trying to understand and kind of tame my behavior,
Yeah.
my person to say, consider this. And I said to myself, okay, I will consider every counsel that I receive so that I leave no stone unturned.
Yes. So that when you finally leave, you know you have tried everything that you could do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
explored every possible avenue. And it was even hard for me because at some point I'm thinking, maybe I need to be religious enough. Maybe I'm not religious enough. Maybe I'm not praying enough. You know, maybe let me be that prayer warrior, that woman,
Mm, mm,
and even that, you would find yourself being the only person going to church with these kids, and he's not even there, let alone doing like a Bible study or family worship. He was not there.
she
And this
wasn't.
is the that I converted into when I got married, his religion, and he
Yeah.
grew up in,
Wow.
And so it was no matter what I tried, it was just not working because I thought, at this around, let me not rely on my own understanding. Let me not rely on my because I was said I'm too white, I'm too Western.
Yeah. Yeah.
I when he was holding my head and he's poking it here. It's like, "Bukwa ba hao botse anymore, boom," you know? And I'm just like, so I said, what, let me not let bukwa ba ka bong dominate. Let me take
Hey.
counsel. Simply
Koreanung
whatever.
now, the things, it has shifted. You are the problem. And you're trying to come up with ways to fix the problem, which is you, bokgwa ba gago, your westernized behavior, and see if, it's actually the problem. Was bokgwa ba gago ever a problem though? As you were
No,
still trying to come up with solutions to the problem. Was it ever bokgwa ba gago?
no, I actually got to realize that, what? This one time I was sitting, I'm thinking, I'm here at home with the kids. I'm the one doing everything for the kids. What is
Mm,
he doing? You know? So it is not my problem. He is the problem.
mm,
And
mm.
so recent time, like I said, in 2015, it was like that breaking point for me. Yeah, I gave birth to my daughter in March, and I think we were going for her 6 weeks vaccination,
Mm,
and he hadn't slept at home the night before. I don't know where he was, so he came in the morning, and as I was getting busy, like getting ready, to leave, the kangaroo pouch. So I'm
yeah.
laying my daughter there, and I assemble her onto my chest. And then he asks me for money. He's like, okay, can I have 100 rand? And I said, I do not have. And it's like, what do you mean? Because I think it was on my payday at the time. He's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? He's like, no, I just need 100 rand. And I said, I don't have. The only money that I have is the money to maintain your kids. And then he kept quiet. And as I was walking out the door, I just felt him grab me by the hair, pull me back into the house. Now I'm trying to balance this baby that I have on my chest.
Yes. Because
Yeah,
obviously your concern is the 6-week baby.
yeah. So I'm with the one hand I'm holding on to the baby, and with the other hand I'm trying to break free. You know,
Mm.
and now we busy fighting each other. I'm fighting to break free, and this person now he starts hitting me again, and I'm trying to block and fight back with the other hand, and then he punched me in the face.
Yes.
And as he punched me in the face, all I remember is that I was blacking out. But the one thing that was in my head that I want to land, because the couch was right next to me, I want to land with my belly on the couch so that that's the landing surface for the baby.
Mm.
So yeah, blacked out for I don't know how many minutes I blacked out for. But when I regained consciousness, he was on his knees, crying, begging, and pleading. And for me, it was at that point where I realized that, you know what, mm-mm,
I can
this
live like this.
is, I can't live like this. For me, I was like, no. And I let my family know. And I think also because we've had so many interventions from church elders to my
Yeah.
family members, at this point, everybody also was tired. I
Mm.
remember a uncle saying to me when I was telling them, I'm seeing counseling, I'm seeing a therapist, and I'm near depression, although I'm fighting it. And my family was saying, we know about depression, and we know that people do actually die from depression. We know that people do actually commit suicide from depression. Now it's at a point where "Ra ka ngwana rena." And they were like,
Mm.
you don't know why you're staying in that marriage. The decision is yours ultimately. But as
Yes.
for we are saying no.
We are
and it was
choosing your
unsafe.
life. We
Yeah,
we want you to choose yourself as well. Choose to live, because should you continue in that marriage, you're gonna die. He's gonna eventually kill you.
exactly. So yeah, it was that point where then I started planning my exit strategy, because I just knew that it can't continue. I had
No.
exhausted everything humanly possible, to try and work at this marriage. And for me, it was just it. And this was like
Yeah.
3 years. And so yeah,
Sure.
so and funny enough, even then, because planning an exit strategy, because I knew my sister was already tired also from picking me up and taking me back all the time, you
Mm,
know,
mm,
and I knew that when I leave this time around, it's for good.
mm, mm.
So yeah, so that was that.
So you packed up, you left. Where is he now? Is he part of the kids' lives? Is he part of the parenting plan, to say, yes, we are no longer together. Yes, things didn't work out between us, but I'm still a father, I'm still a father to your kids. Is he there? Is he playing an active role?
Okay, so yeah, so okay, just to wrap how I left in is that I didn't just leave at that point in time. So
Mm,
I had to plan the exit strategy. So I had to make sure that I don't interrupt the kids' program,
mm,
because they had a set up program, schooling and stuff, and they had, their grandmothers were involved in their lives, and they had planned out a very nice December schedule as well. So I had to stick it out for
mm.
that, make sure that everything runs for the year, nothing is interrupted. But on the 2nd of January 2016, that's when
Yes.
I picked it. And he also couldn't believe it. He was like, "Oh, you're leaving. Fine,
Yeah.
go, leaving." But I think because I was doing this back and forth, he thought, I would probably come
It's
back.
another pack up and you'll unpack again, you'll come back.
Yeah, but this time it was good. He's still around, although financially he does not provide for his children,
Mm,
not. But in terms of the relationship, they do have a relationship. You know, kids have phones now. He does call them. They do check in with each other, and they do visit. But however, him and I don't have that relationship. We don't communicate. And I also took a decision to say, you know what, I'm just going to block this person out, because when I need him for things that matter, he does not pull through.
yeah.
Especially in terms of this. So the only time that I would communicate is if I need to, we are needed at school, or I really have to have a need to communicate with him, because
Mm,
other than it makes no there is no point to it. The only person that I communicate to is his mother,
mm,
because she's a very active grandmother. She really loves her grandchildren. So to facilitate visits, because now he stays with his mother,
mm.
to facilitate visit, I will speak to the grandmother. She would come fetch them, So I speak via her,
Yes.
and obviously when they're there, he gets to see them. They get to spend time with their father. They're very fond of their father,
Mm,
and it's actually a problem with that. But for me and him, there really is nothing left. That's just that.
mm. Yeah, I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking, I still want to ask more. I still, want us to have this conversation, but I know you do have another appointment to get to. I just want to quickly go to the comments. Renelo says, "I'm generally a good person who would want to hurt me. It was a mistake. I can relate. There's another one from Gele. She says the biggest mistake that our families do, barata go laya women, and that doesn't happen with men, whereby they are set down to be told how to make you wife and family um, happy. Our traditions are full of patriarchy. And it's very true.
Yes,
It's very true that it's only one sided. You are taught how to be the wife, the perfect wife. But on the other hand, so on the one hand, you don't do on the other. You don't sit him down to say, this is how to be a man, this is how to be a good man to your wife, a good husband to your wife. And that's why we're saying We are tired of the patriarchal system. Things needs to change, because should it not change, we will continue on the same pattern that we
That's
are
the
on.
thing. That's the thing, because I don't even think I mean, but
Mm,
I think African culture is so enabling of
mm,
of behavior that is not right. You know, it makes it okay for a man to cheat. It makes it okay for a man to not contribute into the household. It gives the man so much power to do whatever it is that they want. They have freedom, but you have to dignify him, and
mm,
he doesn't have the finger in it. So even
mm,
though Baba Laya in a wayward way, I would say, you
mm.
know, teach them how to, teach them the concept that a happy wife makes a happy home.
Yes. But
So
looking
however,
back, looking back, Kea, do you have any regrets?
I don't have, because for me, even when I left, I had to reassess the whole situation. And I'm very pedantic about the lessons, like what my life says to other people, what message
Yeah.
am I saying. And as I was sitting and reflecting, I was thinking, okay, to my boy child, I'm setting the standard. I'm saying that a woman who has to Bekezela this nonsense,
Mm.
benchmark of being a man, you know. And if you're going to be like your father, it means there must be someone else's daughter out there that is going to accept this behavior. And I
Yes.
was not comfortable with that message that I was sending out to my and to my daughter as well. I was saying, this is what it means for a man to love you. So if you are also with a man that beats you up and does not contribute to the make of your household, it's okay, you beggars like that. I was not comfortable with that. I was not going to endorse those teachings to my children. And at
Yes.
the same time, I wanted them to understand that, you know what, this is not how a family should be. Yes,
Mm.
there is a father, but this is not healthy. This is not right.
Mm.
You need to choose happiness. And it should be in your terms. It should be defined in your
Yeah.
terms.
Mm.
And if it's being alone, it's okay. I would rather be okay, because if I'm okay, then I can be uh, a good mother to you, because
Mm.
I'm not pouring a teacup. So for me, it was that message. And that's why, having lived and how things have happened, I don't regret. And the other thing also is that the lessons that I learned in it, although it was not a pleasant lesson or a learning experience, but I got
Yes.
to learn such as sometimes being still in the moment and being guided. Sometimes also taking advice that you would not have traditionally taken. So those are
Mm.
lessons that I would apply them differently in different situations. I'm not saying that go through abuse to understand what it means to be patient, but
Mm.
it's
Mm.
in experience that I also had to sit back and say, what is the lesson in what I went through? And
Mm.
because that for me helped me very much in moving forward. Because I always said I don't want to repeat the cycle. And
Yeah.
also, it takes two to tango. I'm not saying I'm a perfect person. Yes, I
Yeah.
said I was, but I'm not perfect. It was my first experience at being a wife. I was learning on the role. There are certain things right now I would certainly do differently.
Mm.
And
Mm.
character as a person, I have evolved from that experience. So although it was meant, I don't know what that experience was meant to do, but like I say, life's adversity is a character building exercises. So my character building exercise unfortunately included black eye and a whole lot of other issues in it.
Mm.
But I'm here today because of I went through that experience.
Yeah, you are here today and you went through that experience. But you know what? Thank you so much for sharing your story, because the very same story that you had to endure, the bruises and all that, it's going to help somebody else to say, oh, wow, I'm actually in an abusive relationship. Because sometimes when you are in it, like you were relaying earlier on, that it took time for you to process it. It took time for you to even say, I am going to be part of the statistics. So your story it's going to help somebody else self-reflect and see that, oh my word, I am Kea. Yes, we didn't dwell into everything that transpired in terms of, each time he abused, what was it over? Not that there will ever be a reason why a man should lay a hand on a woman, but
Yeah.
we talk about these things so that we say, look out for this. There were no red flags right at the beginning for you, but for somebody else, as you are talking and telling your story, it could help them realize that, oh my word, here are the red flags. And you know what? We are leading in the path that Kea was on. And take a step back, take stock of where I am, take stock of what I need to do next in order for me to be saved, and to be happy. Before we close off, Kea, what is your advice for a young girl who's just been slept? It's the first time that I have been slept, whether it's in a public space, whether it's in a private space. What is your advice?
Acknowledge it for what it is.
Mm,
You're violated. Nobody has a right to hit you, and nobody has a right to correct your behavior by harming you. Love
mm,
does, you know, you are being abused, because I think sometimes it's hard to accept it because it is frowned upon. It's even you would even use fancy terms to say he got physical with me. Acknowledge it for what it is, so that you are able to internalize it and absorb it and say, I am being abused. And once you speak of it as it is, then you are able to decide accordingly.
for what
So
it
you
is.
are, yeah, you are not um, putting embellishments to it. You are not hiding it or making it look pretty. When he
Mm.
slaps, say it. You hit me. You violated me. You physically abused me.
And also the
And
financial parts, because I mean, abuse, I guess it's easier for us to acknowledge it when there are bruises and we can see it that, okay, I am bruised up. But there is financial abuse, there is emotional abuse. And those are the things that I think are most difficult to come to terms and in accepting, in realizing that my husband is actually financially abusing me, emotionally abusing me, and otherwise. So yeah.
I would just like to close it because I know we are pressed for time, but I would close it in saying that, signs of abuse are seen in narcissistic behavior. Other things that I would say now could have been key indicators was that be careful, always be careful of a person that tries to isolate you. You know,
Mm.
ready, and you had your own life, like I had my own life. Now, all of a sudden, the decisions that I make for myself are wrong. It seems like they are the only person that has my best interest at heart. Now, I'm being made to feel bad for meeting up with my friend, even though I was not doing anything wrong, but I'm being made to feel bad about the things that I would normally do and things that are generally acceptable everywhere. So be careful of that. A person that wants to isolate you and wants to have you to themselves usually wants to put you in a corner where they feed whatever ideologies that they want to, and that they can break you down there and you have no outlet on the outside. So yeah, so those are the key indicators. Always look at the behavior.
Mm.
A person's consistent behavior communicates a message, even if they don't say it to you. And also like spending behavior, how a person's relationship with is. If you're with somebody and they don't understand what it means to say, you know, and they don't understand leaving something extra for a rainy day. And usually also, if people don't have the same aspirations as you, sometimes they will pull you down because they can't dream as big as you can. But yeah, that's a conversation for another day. But looking back, I'd say those are some of the key red flags to look out for when you deal with somebody with a narcissistic behavior.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming to this platform, telling your story, and just, allowing yourself to be vulnerable. It's never easy to tell I mean, in the life that we live, it's easier to show the people the good side of your story, the good side of your journey, you know, but it's never easy to talk about things that either broke us or damaged us, for a lack of a better word, or for
Yeah.
almost damaging us, you know. But you have courageously done that today. And I want to thank you for, you know, with my whole heart to say thank you so much for opening yourself up, because what you have just done, it's just merely saying to the next woman, you know, you don't have to bekezela. You don't have to bekezela, because it's a concept that has landed many in body bags, you know. It's a concept that has left so many children without their mothers guiding their footsteps. And often enough, because we want to hold on to marriages because how about you are a return soldier. But you know what? Sometimes you'd rather be a breathing return soldier to be celebrated living, as opposed to one whom we are now burying. You know, he didn't damage you, he didn't break you, but rather he made you realize your resilience. He made you realize the strength that lays within you. And not only did you rise up above that, you are a force to be reckoned with. You can go Google this woman. She's remarkable. You know, you are a force to be reckoned with. And I'm happy that today you are standing because you had to set a statement for your own kids to say that you are not going to be in an abusive relationship just for the sake of being in a family unit. You know, you are not going to raise your own child, your own boy child, into punching a woman and saying it is okay to do so just because you saw your father doing it to me. You did rise above this. You are stronger and resilient as you are, beautiful. Oh, my word, beautiful. You know, beautiful as you are. I'm happy that you, a seed, he tried burying you. Little did he know that, oh my word, this seed is just going to sprout and become this great woman that you are. So thank you so much for coming on this platform. May you continue to grow and flourish and preaching and telling your story and helping other young girls as they grow up through your foundation. Her foundation is Tega's sister.
Yes.
You know, if you do want to support her cause, she helps young girls, particularly those who fell pregnant at an early age, you know, so to get back on their feet. So if you would like to support Kea's foundation, it's Tag a Sister. I will also put it in the comments so that you know exactly how we write it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
You continue to smile. It's such a beautiful smile that you have. May you continue to glow and live and heal, you know, as you help other women also heal in their own journey.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody else also for tuning in and listening to our story. Hope it was beneficial to some, and hopefully someone else would also realize that you are not merely your experiences, but
Mm.
you actually are created for a purpose, you know, and you don't have to walk around carrying your problems on your shoulders, you know. It's okay to put your best foot forward. You're
Yeah.
not the face of abuse or the face of uh, failed marriage, but
Mm.
you actually have your own life to live. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
And when it comes to that point where you have to choose yourself, you know,
Let's
choose to
work for
live.
yourself.
Yes, stand up for yourself, choose yourself to live. And, you know when it's that time to pack up your bags and go. We don't advocate for divorce, but when there is violence involved, we say, take your
Yeah.
bags and go home if you have to go home, because your safety comes first. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Remember, be kind to yourself and people around you. Thank you so much, Kate. Have a wonderful week ahead.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.